Hello, my name is Cynthia and welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to drag the funnel corset, the trending funnel corset. And for this tutorial, this is the measurements we'll be working with. We'll be working with these measurements. So for the pattern, I've marked out all my lines. I've marked out my chest line. I've drawn my shoulder line, the bust line, the hip line for the front and for the back. So now we will go straight into inputting our measurements and drafting our pattern, the pattern. So for the front, for the front, you're using a bust 41 circumference, and that 41 will measure the across the chest and the across the back. For the across chest is 22. I'll divide the 22, the across chest measurement into 22 divided by 2. I'll have 11 inch. 22 divided by 2 is 11 inch. Then I'll add 0.25 for ease. 0.25 for ease. Then the waist, I have waist 33. So for the waist, we are dividing it into 4. 33 divided by 4, I have 8.25. So I am marking my 8.25 on my waistline. Then for the hip circumference, we are dividing it into the across bone and the front hip. So for the front, I'm working with the hip circumference 45. 45, we have the across bone. We measure the across bone to be 24. So whatever is left, so you subtract the across bone from the hip circumference will be the front part. So 45 minus 24 for the across bone, I have 21. So the 21 I divide it into 2. I have 10.5. 10.5 plus 0.25 for ease, I have 10.75. So this is it. So now I'm going to connect all the lines with my pencil like this. And then for this the hip part, I will use the slide for. So for the back, I will impute the back measurements. The across back is 19. So 19 divided by 2, I have 9.5 plus 0.25 means I have 9.75. So on the chest line, we mark 9.75. So for the waistline, I'm using the same thing for my waistline. 8.25 for the waist, 8.25. Because I'm working with waist 33. Then for the hip, the across bone is 24. 24 divided by 2, I have 12 plus half 0.25 for each, that's 12.25. So I'm going to connect all the lines like this. So I've connected my line. So I'm going to draw, connect the hip to the chest, the hip line to the chest line like this, using a broken line. Like this. For the dart intake, because I'm using the subtraction method, I will measure what I have from here on my waistline. For the front and back, what I have left from here on my waistline, this is 2.75. I'll bring it here and measure what I have. I have 5.5. So 5.5, I will divide it into 6. 5.5 divided by 6. Whatever I have is my dart intake for this pattern. This is because I'm using the subtraction method. So when I measure what I have from this line to this line, this face line, here, whatever I have from here plus here, I'll divide it into 6. Then that would be my dart intake. And for this measurement, I have 0.9, 0.9. So for the front on the waistline, I will include the dart intake 0.9 here, and then 0.9 here. Then I'll draw my darts. I'll draw the darts. So for the back, because it's a corset, I won't be drawing it now. I'll come back to it later. So I'll just note it down, 0.9. So after taking the darts, so I'll return one of the 0.9, one part of the 0.9 to the side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll return it to the side of the front and the back. So I'll return 0.9 here, and then 0.9 to the back as well, 0.9 here. So this line now will be the line I'll be using. And for the top, so you can actually go ahead and clean this first line that we drew, because you will not be needing it again. So now I'll be determining my underbust tightening. So for the underbust tightening, I'm going to measure what I have from the waistline to the underbust line and take it to the back, like it. So I'll measure from here. I have 3. From the waistline of the back, I'll measure the 3 upwards, and I will draw a thin line because I will not be using the line later on the pattern. So you are going to be dividing the underbust circumference by 2. For this tutorial, I have the underbust circumference I'm using is 34. 34 divided by 2, I have 17. So on the underbust line, I'm going to measure out 17, excluding the dart intake. So because of this, I'm just going to impute the dart intake for the back. Because of this, let me just go ahead and impute the dart intake for the back. I actually wanted to leave it for later, but you won't be able to get the underbust tightening right if you don't do this, if you don't increase it. So this is it, I've drawn it. So now I'm going to measure out the underbust circumference divided by 2. So what I have 17. I'll measure starting from the center front to this first dart leg. I have 3.6. Then I'll bring it to this continues from the second dart leg. So this is our line. I have 9. Then I'll continue from the back, 9 here, to the first dart leg of the back. I have 14.1. Then I'll continue from the second dart leg till I have 17. So this is 17. So what is left from here to here is what you use for your underbust circumference. So in case you draft and you have less than 1 inch, here is 1 inch, it is 1 inch on here. In case you do yours and you have less than 1 inch, you can go ahead and use exactly 1 inch for your underbust tightening. But if you have more than 1 inch, it is still very, very much okay. You can use whatever you have. But if it's less than 1 inch, just use 1 inch. So that 1 inch on my underbust line, I'm going to share it into 2. I'll use half an inch on both sides, half an inch on both sides for the underbust tightening. Then I'll come with my curve and I will connect it like this. Then I'll connect it like this. So after that, you can just go ahead and clean up this thin line that you do for the back. The next thing I'm going to do, I'll be doing my 25% shoulder tightening. And how do I achieve that? On the shoulder line, the shoulder slope, I'll take the midpoint of the shoulder. Here I have 2.1, the midpoint is 2.1 here. I'll connect it to the bust point using a straight line. Then I'm going to cut through. I'm going to cut through and close my bust dart. I actually forgot to impute my bust dart, so please don't forget to impute your bust dart. So now I've imputed my bust dart, which is 3 inch. Then I'm going to cut open this line and then close the bust dart. So after that, I can now blend up this place from the blended it up here. So now, since I've opened up this place, I'll be doing my shoulder tightening, and with this pattern I'll be using the 50% shoulder tightening. So for the 50% shoulder tightening, I'll measure what I have from here to here. I have 4.75. I'll divide it into 2. I'll have 2.375. So on this part of the pattern, I'll come and I'll add the 2.375. 2.375 should be here. Yes, that is it. So I'm going to connect that point to my nipple point. The 2 points, from this point, I'll measure the 2 points. 375. Here. Take my shoulder slope, make sure that it is on my shoulder slope. Take my shoulder slope. Connect this point, connect it to this. Then I can now go ahead and redraw the angle like this. So this is how you do it. I have marked my overbust line. This is my overbust line. And for the overbust lines, I measure what I have from my nipple point to my underbust line, and I took it upwards from the nipple point. So for the overbust tightening, I'll measure what I have from here on this point of the overbust line, because this place is going to be out. I have one. I'll take it to this other side of the pattern. Then I'll come with my slice curve, and then then I will now go ahead and blend up this curve here. I'll blend up like this. I'll blend up like this. So for this side, I want it to be, I will not want it to be straight like this. You can as well make it straight down, but I want it to have this V style line at the front part. So what I'll do, I'll measure 2 inch on my center front. I'll measure on the hem, on the hip line, I'll measure 2 inch. 2 inch here. I'll connect the points. You can as well do 1.5 if you want it to be really big. You can as well do 1.5, you can do, but I'm okay with 2 inch. I'll connect it down. You can as well do 1.5 if you really wish to. So I'll measure what I have on this underbust tightening area. I have to, from here to here, I have to. I'll bring it down here on this hemline, this hip line, and mine is stopping at exactly this point. So I'll connect this point now to this underbust tightening point. Then this 2 inch, since we are going to remove it from this pattern, it is going to shorten what we have at this hip circumference. So this 2 inch, we are going to return it to the side. So I'll mark out 2. We are returning this 2 inch. You know, we are cutting off this part, so we are returning it to the side of the pattern. Then with my 4, I'll go like this. But before I draw this, we are going to make a line here to draw another dot at this part of the pattern. So what I'll do, I'm going to measure from this, on the waistline, I'll measure what I have from here to here. This is the dot length we are using. So let me put this other one. I'll measure what I have from this point to this point here, and I'll divide it into 2. I have 4.5. When I divide it into 2, I have 2.25. This is the midpoint. I'll take the midpoint. Then from there, I'll draw a line to this. So the line does not really have to be straight, like this. Then at this point, you are going to make about 0.25 inch on both sides, or you can go 1 inch on both sides as well. On both sides of this line, you do 0.25 on both sides. Then you are connecting it to this part. And then for the lower part, you are going to use the curve like this. And then you're going to use the curve. So this is half an inch, right? This half an inch. You return it to the side. Then you connect it back to the chest line like this, and then you can now connect it to the hip line. So this is it for the front. If you want your hip to be really exaggerated, you can add as much as you want to add for the exaggeration, and you can actually add as much as you want to add for the exaggeration, and then connect to the waistline, then you can style. So now we are going to draw the funnel part of the of this part. But first of all, we are going to draw the neckline. So for this, I'll be using the sweetheart neckline for the upper part. So I'll measure my cleavage depth. For the cleavage depth, I'll be using 6. So from the neckline, from the neck depth, you measure the cleavage depth. For me, I'll be using 6. Then I can actually do like this. I'll fold this part of the paper, right? Bring it like this. Fold it like this. So if it's cut out like this, it's really not a problem. I'll bring it like this. And then I can now draw the neckline from here. So you can actually make any kind of neckline you want to make for this part. You can make scallop neckline. Scallop neckline is nice. You can actually make, I might as well decide to change it to scallop neckline. And then for those parts, I'll take back my paper. And then for this part, I'm going to blend it to the angle. Using the curve, I'll blend it to the angle. We'll start off like this. And I just start off like this and then blend it just to the angle. Like this. Again. So this is the neckline I'm using. So you can make scallop, you can make just about anything you want to make. Then now for the funnel part, mine is not going to be, first of all, we are going to measure where you want the funnel part to start from. And for me, I don't want it. Some people actually start it from a little below the bust line, but I really want it to go far than the bust line. So I'll measure 9, like 1.5 inch away from the bust line. Then I'll come with my curve, and then I'm going to connect like this. So you can actually, make it to touch the mid bust. So however you want the mid bust, you can make it to cut across the mid bust. So however you want it, but I wouldn't want it to cut across the mid bust. So I'll go like this. Right? So you can actually, whichever one, this is fine. You can still make it like this if you don't want it to be. So however you want to make it, it is okay. Then I will extend out this space a little. Then I will withdraw the angle like this. See, I'm placing it. I will withdraw it. You can do half an inch. You can extend it out by half an inch. So let me do half an inch on this point. Then good. So I don't know if this is confusing for you. Let me use this marker pen to highlight it. So this is for our first neckline, and then this is for the second neckline. So I think I'm actually going to make my own scallop. So if you want to make the upper neckline scallop, you can actually make this scallop like but whichever one you want to do. So before we style the hemline, I want us to finish up with the back before we now style the hemline of this pattern. So for the back, let me remove this bit temporarily so we can see it. So for the back, I am going to first of all determine the style line for the back neckline. So from this chest line, I'm going to draw my style line. For the back style line, from the chest line, I will come down by 1 inch. So you can do whatever you want to do though. You can do whatever you want to do. Then I will come with my not so straight line, and I will connect it to this point. You can still use a straight line for yours. So now I'm going to first of all erase this dots because I will not be needing this. So now I'm going to take out the loop side. So for this part, I'm doing 2 inch. This is for the lacing part. From the center back, I'll mark on this upper neckline. I'll mark 2. You can do 1.5 depending on how. Then on the lower side, I'll do 1 inch or half an inch, depending on what you want. Then I will connect the 2 points with the straight line. So this part will be out of the pattern. So whatever is left from this point to this point, I will divide it into 3 equal parts. So I'll measure what I have left. I have about 8. 8 divided by 3, I'll have 2.6. So it's actually very safe to use 2.5, 2.5 from the center back, and then from here I'll mark 2.5 as well. So what I have left is almost 3 inches, 2.5 here, 2.5 here. So let me erase this. So at this point, I have drawn the darts for the back. Each of these dart intake is 0.9. Here to here is 0.9. Here to here is 0.9. No, our initial dart intake, that is what we did here. But if you are like if you really do not want this small style line, especially for somebody that is really smaller, you can actually just make only one style line at the back and then do just the 0.9 at both sides, just that one intake, just one style line. You don't need to make these 3 style lines to the back. You can just draw the one back and that will be all. We are going to style the hair. So in cases where you want the hip part of your funnel corset to be exaggerated, you can go up from this line by half an inch or 1.5. Go up from your hip line 1.5, and from that point, from this point, I go up by 1.5. You can extend it as much as you want to. So for this tutorial, I won't be doing much extension. So what I will do, I'll go up by 1.5. Then I will extend my the hip by 1 inch. I'm okay with 1 inch because I really do not want it to be too exaggerated. So you can do 2.5 as much as you want it to be. I'll do the same thing for the back. I'll go up by 1.5. So from this point, I'll do 1 inch. So you can do 2.5, 1.5, depending on whatever you like. Then I'm going to come with my curve. I don't want the hips to be too exaggerated. I'm going to see how I'm placing my curve. I'll place it like this, and then I'll connect it to the waistline like this. I'll connect it to the waistline. I'll also do the same thing for the front. I'll connect it to the waistline. And then from this point, I'll connect it to this part like this. You can do this. You can do this. You can style it anyhow you want. You can style it like this. You can also, if you don't want this, you can also decide to just blend up this part so it will be see I'm blending it up like this. See I blended it up. And then the same thing, I'll do the same thing for the front. Just style it like this. So this one I won't be doing much blending here. You can still also blend it up if you don't want. I see. Or you can just leave it like this depending on what you want. But I think I am okay with this blending. So I'm working with this blending. So this is it. So now what I'm going to do next is that I'm going to now trace out each all these pattern pieces. So I think for this tutorial, for this I've actually changed my mind about the neck styling. I think I will be going with the scallop neckline. So you can do anything you want. Let me do with the scallop neckline. You can actually still take it from here, like this, just like this. So you can do just about anything you want. I am not going to place another pattern paper under this, and I'm going to trace every part. I'm going to trace it out because I need to trace this part different from here, from this upper neckline to the underbust. I need to trace it different, and I'm just going to trace, especially the front part. I'm going to trace. So at this point, I have traced out all my pattern from the master pattern piece. I've traced it out. This is the back pattern. This is for the back. Then this is the upper neckline. Then this is the front part. So I also did here to mark out the underbust line and the waistline. So, and the waistline of this piece. So that when I'm joining, trying to put the pattern pieces together, it will not be hard for me. This is the original pattern piece, right? This is it. So now I'm going to cut out each piece like this, and I'll transfer to fabric, adding half an inch seam allowance everywhere. Half an inch seam allowance everywhere. So for this project, I'll be using this fabric. So this is my main fabric, and this is the lining. And this is for the upper part of the upper part. So I'll cut out and transfer to fabric, and I'll see you during the sewing video. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Bye.